Hello, ladies, gentlemen, bodies of water. We don't know who we are yet. This is a new channel, and we didn't think of what to call this channel. But we are three guys who are going to play some roleplay games, and you're going to sit there and watch it and hopefully enjoy it. My name is Lee.
My name is Matt.
And I'm Carl.
That was really good, guys. And we are unknown at the moment.
We are to be decided.
We are TBC, ladies and gentlemen.
Insert name here.
We could just be the Tangentleman again, couldn't we? We could just totally be.
It could be, yeah.
We could be Tangentleman does board games.
I'd hope I get IDB run ones are not full of the tangents that they are podcasts.
I hope that, definitely. Yeah. I hope that.
We'll never conclude a single quest, Matt.
Never, ever. Well, I'll snatch hold of the reins here because I am the DM for this first game that we're running on our channel. Two-player game so far, but who knows? We may add more. But I'm going to hand over to our two intrepid players. Carl, over to you.
Thanks. So I will be playing Graccus Foebreaker, a orc barbarian / druid who has come from a distant, very cold, very inhospitable lands to where we are now. I will leave Matt to do that part, no more. Who has a checkered history, but mostly does odd jobs and lives day to day.
And I will be playing Cassius Valentine, a rogue warlock who is what is he? He's an ASMR, a fallen ASMR. So they're kind of like, how would you explain them, Matt? They're kind of like angel boys.
Yeah.
Angel boys. And yeah, he is a private eye. Well, not a private eye, no. He is an information broker, a secret keeper, a secret archivist in the town we call Mihre. Back to you, Matt, to introduce where the fuck we are and what the fuck we're doing.
Indeed. So just a quick sort of admin note before we start. So you notice there that they were both something/something. So because there's two players, we're doing Gestalt characters. So basically that just means that the characters are multi-classed at level 1, and as they level up, both things level up together. Just because there's a small party, and I think it'd just be more fun.
And multi-classing looks hella fun.
Oh boy, does it.
I've never properly multi-class before. Like I'll normally take like a level here or a level there. I normally play a rogue. Cassius is my go-to character, and he is generally a rogue. I've played a couple of other characters, a fighter, a ranger, a couple of others. But I've never played a warlock, and the warlock that I found seems particularly interesting for what we're doing. But it seemed really cool to go through as a gestalt and click them up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting playing a barbarian who's able to cast spells.
Absolutely.
So being druid makes things very interesting because some of those spells can get quite nasty quite later on. I had to flick through. So there's going to be some interesting dichotomy when I pick the archetypes for both, because barbarian, there's a couple good choices. Druids, a couple good choices, but some of them later level spells. Yeah.
And what that's going to mean is more work for me, probably.
Absolutely.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to throwing some cool shit at you. So, are you ready, gentlemen?
I am indeed.
I am.
Okay, so this is a homebrewed world, so I've got a bit of a spiel for you to begin with. No one is sure how, why, or even when, but one day the world ended. Great pillars of fire erupted from the mountains. The oceans boiled. Great cracks tore through every landmass, all in a matter of moments. Then Like glass, the world shattered. What remains is a cloud of floating rocks, vast and thick, surrounding a molten ball of iron and nickel, known as the core. One would think a cataclysm such as that would have spelled doom for the many peoples that inhabited the world. Yet some islands still support life. Some islands have become towns and villages dedicated to farming, hunting, mining, some small industries. Some retain their thick jungle foliage from the time before. Some, it is rumoured, even contain their own water supply, a rarity. It would be the only water in the mass. Very few of the islands are large enough to support cities, but one that is Mihre. Mihre is built inside and around the remains of a mountain, hollowed out in the calamity. 500,000 people have found their way there. Mihre is, in many ways, the promised land. There is a dream of Mihre, an idea of prosperity and influence and untapped fortunes. What people find is quite different. Mihre operates on a system of tiers, leading up and down the mountain. At the very top are the royal family, in a palace known as the Ice Throne. Below them are the hyper-rich, then the rich, then the almost rich, until the 7th tier, the poorest, where more than 300,000 of the 500,000 find themselves, on top of each other, in the dirt, in the crime, and in the smog. And it is on the 7th tier of Mihre that our story begins.
With two broke-ass motherfuckers.
Indeed. Graccus.
Yes.
You are in a narrow street, in a nook. There are plenty of nooks because this is built into a mountain. And because you have no money and barely any possessions, you don't have any lodging, so you're forced onto the streets. You are woken by sort of nudging, and your eyes sort of slowly open, and you see an elven woman bent over you, tugging at the clasp of your pack.
I reach out, grab her by the wrist. Firm, but not overly firm. What the hell do you think you're doing?
She pulls a dagger. What you got in there for your life?
If you really think you can take my life, you're welcome to try. Walk away.
First,
for you.
First roll of the game. Intimidation, please.
Wouldn't it be terrible if Carl dies right here and now?
Right.
Sneak attack! Bam!
17.
Her eyes kind of widen a little bit. The dagger kind of falters away. And she begins to tremble, and she just slowly lets go of the pack. She still has the dagger on you like this, but she's backing away now. And then at the edge of the nook, really it's sort of just a small alleyway. Very, very small though. Once she gets to the street proper, she just turns and bolts.
I turn to the pack and just double check everything's fastened and tightened, and then pull it more under me, and then lean back against it, and then against the wall behind me, and close my eyes.
Okay. Well, there's nothing, everything, the pack's secure. There doesn't seem to be anything missing in the pack. You caught her early.
Okay.
You've learned to be a light sleeper.
Yep.
Not too far away, in the Smiling Skies Inn, there is another figure rousing awake in his room at the inn. Cassius.
I get up. The room is not big. This is
It
a
is
tiny
not.
room. I have fallen on hard times. And I look at it almost in disgust. Really. Take a solemn sigh and then walk downstairs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as you leave your room, you pass sort of row after row of these doors, leading into other rooms in the inn. Very, very tight corridors. And as you descend the stairs, they creak. Even under your light step, they creak. And as you get to the bottom, you see the landlord of the inn, Anya, in front of you with her arms folded.
Hello, beautiful Anya. How are you today?
Cut the crap, Cassius. Your money's due.
I believe my money is due by the end of the week. Lovely, Anya.
The end of the week is tomorrow. So, yeah, your money's due at the end of the week.
That is fine, my love. I will have it to you as soon as I can.
You better. You've been staying here a month, and a month is long enough without paying. You've made a lot of promises.
Promises I can keep. I assure you, Anya.
Well, we'll see about that, won't we?
We will indeed. Lovely, Anya.
Go on. She just sort of jerks her head toward the front door.
I bow, keeping eyes on her, and sort of quite gracefully just leave.
Mm-hmm.
You
step
breath.
you step out of the Smiling Skies Inn. It's the day is sort of brightening up. The deep serpentine purple sky is turning lighter and lighter. The sky is purple in this world. You can just sort of see it on the edge. Like the Smiling Skies Inn is near to the sort of edge of the mountain where the docks are, like the lower tier 7 docks. And you can see the light growing. You can see people starting to kind of mill about. The early risers are going to the docks to work. What do you do?
Well, I need to make some fucking money. I have two things that I'm very good at: being quiet in my step and talking. I'm very good at talking. How much do I need to make rent?
Well, you put aside. Well, you went in there at the start of the month, and you needed. Oh God, hang on. Luckily, I have the prices written down somewhere. Oh, I do have the prices written down. Okay. So usually it's 2 silver a night.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a gold every 5 days. So that's 6 gold.
Okay. What are my options? I've been looking around, I would say, probably for the last week or two.
So for your skill set, there's things here and there. You're quite a talker, so you've been scoping out the indoor and outdoor markets because salesmen are always a good thing for them there. You can probably draw a few people in. There's always work going on at the docks, but I mean, they'll take on, well, I mean, they can't really take on whoever they can because a lot of people really are looking for work down here.
Yeah.
And it's quite a crowded market.
The markets are probably my best bet, I would say. And you said it's early morning.
Yeah, it's early morning. So they'll be probably beginning to set up now.
This is the perfect time for me to go and tout for work then.
Indeed it is.
So I'm going to shoot straight down to the, not the nearest market, but probably one of the best stops, or the what would be good for me? Pretty things.
Okay.
Pretty things or weapons.
Okay. They do have weapon vendors down there, although the weapons aren't necessarily pretty.
Mm-hmm.
They've got knickknacks and things like that. Could be something interesting there. Fabrics as well, swatches and that. Some clothing, but mostly utilitarian kind of clothing.
Mm-hmm. Let's head for a knickknack store.
Okay. While you're on the way there, I'm going to go back to Graccus. So Graccus, you hear a rustling and kind of a scraping sound above you, like directly above you.
I open my eyes, put my hand down to my side to reach sort of on the hilt of my greatsword and look up to see what's above me.
So above you is sort of quite a large sconce with a torch in it. And the torch, so, you know, at night, they still light up the inside, but the torchlight, the fire is blue fire,
Right.
rather than a standard sort of fire-colored fire.
Mm-hmm.
There are a pair of kobolds just sort of poking out, sort of adjusting the sconce and taking it out and extinguishing it. One of them looks down at you with your hand on your greatsword and goes, "Eh!"
At seeing what's going on, I take my hand off the greatsword and put them both up to lift to sort of acknowledge that no, I don't mean them any harm. I, at that point, get up, sling my pack over my shoulders, and then sling my greatsword over my shoulders as well, and start walking out to the main street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you move out, as your kind of foot touches the cobbles of the main street, the new torch sort of blazes to life behind you and illuminates. So but all of them just start lighting up very in quick succession and light up the street. It's not a pretty street by any stretch of the imagination. It's very ramshackle. I mean, it's got its strange kind of rustic beauty, because it's all built in, the buildings and the dwellings are kind of built into the cave wall. So it's got its beauty, to be sure. But you're in a similar situation to Cassius. So you don't have a lot of money at all. In fact, you have no money.
I am flat broke.
Mm-hmm. So in a similar way, you're looking for work.
We are exactly both flat broke. Yeah.
So I will do what I've done for the last few years. I'll head down to the docks first thing, see what, if any, off the books work is available.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of cash in hand, no questions asked kind of jobs.
Okay. So as you walk, you your stomach's rumbling a bit. You've not had a good meal in a day and a half. As you're walking, so you cross onto the main concourse, which leads down to the docks and up toward the markets and things like that. As you're walking, you spot a familiar face in the crowd. This is a guy who it seems like an eon ago that you saw this person. But you saw him when you had your life working before, in the place you were before, in Mihre. And you're not entirely sure of his name, but you definitely recognize his face. You've got an eye for faces.
Mm-hmm.
And you're crossing paths with Cassius. Although you don't think you know his name.
I slow my walk slightly, memories of the old life tend to give me reason not to be remembered. I'm down here in tier 7 for a reason. It's not because I want to be found. So I will keep an eye on this person, see what they're doing, to see if I can spot if they're with anyone else and they're looking for anyone. Other than that, I will sort of carry on towards the docks.
It doesn't seem to be the case. He's striding with purpose, which makes him kind of stand out down here.
Okay.
He's striding with a definite he's heading the opposite direction to you. He's heading up toward the markets. Doesn't seem to be anyone around him.
As he gets close to me, I want to reach out and grab him by the forearm.
You can fucking try.
I mean, I'm almost 7 foot tall, 200 plus pound, 280 plus pound orc, whose main thing is strength.
And I'm a quick bitch, so let's see how you do.
Let's see how you do. So, I would say roll a strength athletics check, please, Graccus. And Cassius, roll me a dexterity sleight of hand check.
So I got a 25.
I didn't.
So you take hold of his arm, not strongly, but enough to take notice.
You look familiar, friend.
You seem to have your hand on me, friend.
Let's just say I don't look familiar in this part of town.
Well, why on earth would you grab me then? It doesn't seem like you want to be found. This seems highly irregular.
Make sure that nobody else is with
What
me.
are you doing, friend?
What are you doing down here? You lived in the higher tiers.
That's none of your business. I
Why
asked
not say it is?
why are you holding on to me, friend?
To make sure if you've got friends about. It's not an easy shot.
Friend, what? Do you think I'm after you?
Why else would someone who lived in the high tier be down here in tier 7?
I have lots of fingers in many pies. I'm friend.
And I used to work for...
What is your name?
I'd scan around just to double check that there isn't anyone that's sort of paying close attention to what's going on and so, or looking at us both.
I mean, the streets are starting to fill a little bit. Mostly people who are sort of looking down. This kind of thing does sometimes happen down here. In fact, it happens quite a bit. There are a lot of altercations. People are just sort of kind of just avoiding you.
Okay.
Almost as if they're socially distancing. But almost as if like it's you're in like a stream and you guys are a rock. Like it's just sort of flowing around you at this point. No one's paying that close attention.
Right. My name is Graccus. Graccus Foebreaker. You are familiar, and I don't like that right now.
Do I know him?
Make me a history check, I guess. Just to recall your own history. Make it with advantage.
Is he going to be in my special, mind dungeon? I've got secrets and shit on him.
I don't know. I don't think so.
21.
Now that he's so close, and that you're sort of studying his face, he doesn't. So obviously he looks a lot different to when you saw him last. But you have seen him before. You've seen him in connection with some of the crime families up in the higher tiers. Now, he didn't seem high up at the time. But you're pretty sure that's where you've seen him.
I'm not sure of I don't recall the name, but I do remember you moving in certain nefarious circles, Graccus, if I'm correct. Muscle, I would imagine, not the brains.
So you can appreciate why I don't like seeing familiar faces down here.
A word to the wise. If you don't want to be seen, stop grabbing people in the street.
In my experience, grabbing the people who are looking for me is a better option. They're close enough for me to kill them.
I think if someone was looking for you, I don't think they'd allow themselves to get too close to you, big boy.
You'd be surprised the fools they hire. At that point, I let go of his wrist.
Okay.
I've never been mistook for a fool before, Mr. Graccus, but I have somewhere to be. Good day.
You take. So, Graccus, what are you doing here? Are you going to carry on, or are you going to watch him go?
I'm going to watch where he goes.
Okay. Well, he takes roughly 4 steps before there is a blood-curdling scream from a side street off the main concourse.
Look.
Same.
Actually, I don't just look, I go. I start walking.
In that direction?
Screams sound like money.
If for your skill set, they probably do.
That sounds like money. I just, like, without a beat, Carl, I just go, I just about turn.
So seeing him turn that quickly without even pausing makes me nervous. So I start following behind him.
Okay. So you cross through the sort of foot traffic, bumping into a few people, but they don't pay you much heed. Cross into a side street, and then make a right into another side street, where the screams are coming from. Now they're not screams anymore. Someone is crying out for help, like terrified and very urgent, just crying out for help. Make me perception checks, please.
20.
22.
So
Okay.
with modifier, it's 23.
Okay, cool. Was that a nat 20?
Nat 20.
Oh, sick. Okay, so you can tell that this voice, so you can tell from what you're hearing, this is a female voice. It's a young voice, shouting out in common. Young as in, you would estimate sort of mid-teens heading towards 20s, so about sort of between 15 and probably 20. With your nat, you can hear that the cries for help, they're urgent, but they're not sort of, it doesn't sound like this person's under attack.
Okay.
But it sounds pretty bad. It sounds like something horrible has happened.
So at that I pick up the pace. I decide that it probably isn't anything to do with the gentleman in front of me. So I start not sprinting, but running in the direction of the screams.
Okay. Do you overtake Cassius?
I imagine I'm going to hear him.
Yeah, I'm not being quiet or subtle.
This big boy. So
Yeah.
I'll step out of the way and usher him through, and then follow after him. Probably better to have a big slab of meat in front of me. Do my best. I do my best work from behind.
All right.
Wink, wink. Cassius,
Lovely.
saucy fellow.
All right. Well, you both, Graccus, you first, obviously. You see a young tiefling girl with sort of purple skin, dressed quite nicely. Like, obviously, she doesn't seem to have a lot of money, but she's dressed well, it seems. and she has tears streaming down her face. She's looking around wildly at passers-by who aren't helping at all. Like, they're just like, I don't want to know. I'm just trying to get to work. I'm just trying to just trying to live. I don't want to get involved. Like, people are just, including a few guards. So you know the city guard here. They are a bit. They don't get involved if there's nothing in it for them. Essentially,
They're not paid enough to be down here dealing with everything.
Unless someone else is going to pay them for help.
There's too much
Yeah.
going on down here for them to be able to deal with everything.
There's too much going on down here and too few of them.
Yeah.
I'll walk up to the girl.
Okay. She sort of, through her tears, her eyes sort of fix on you. Please, please.
Where is it, girl?
In there. She points at the dwelling she's closest to, and said, "In there, please. He's dead."
Who's dead?
His name's Ren. I've known him I haven't known him long.
Calm down. Stay here. I'll take a look. Okay? Breathe.
Okay.
I turn back and look into the street to see if a gentleman that I was speaking to is still walking in this direction.
You turn and you see me at the sort of the end of the, like the opening to the main street, just sort of waiting there.
I look in your direct. I make a very obvious look in your direction and just nod slightly for myself and just walk into the house.
Goodness me. Okay, I will go and speak to the tiefling.
Okay, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with you first, Cassius.
I'm going to go.
So she's sort of calming herself down a little bit, but she's still pretty teary.
Yeah, so I crouch down to sort of. I imagine she's on the floor, right?
Yeah.
Well, I crouch down to eye level. What's your name, girl?
Helena. My name's Helena.
I know. What's happened?
The man I was living with, he's dead.
Who?
His name's Ren.
How? Who? Who did it?
I don't know who did it. I don't know. I walked in, I found him like that.
Found him like what? What has happened?
So just, I don't know, just a lot of blood. Just blood everywhere. He's on the floor.
There was no one in there when you went in there?
Just him.
Okay.
I think just him.
Walk to the main street and sit there for a while, okay? I will return with my large friend once the coast is clear, okay?
Okay.
Is she legit?
Make me an insight check.
Luckily, this is one of my work skills, so that's better. 18.
She seems pretty legit. She seems to be like too terrified and too shocked to kind of form a lie. You've seen people like this before.
I've seen this happen before, and I've just seen a large man walk into what could be his death.
Mm.
I won't be walking in unless I think it's legit.
Mm-hmm.
But she's fine. She walks off. I'll walk in after him.
All right. We'll have you in a minute. But Graccus, you walked in.
Mm-hmm.
Make me a perception check.
10.
Okay. So, this is this is what you see. So there's no body there. So the body is, in fact, I need to remember which tab I'm on, so I'm not trying to click on the stream. It's the body is here. So this is the pool of blood, basically. And that's where the body is. I've not put the body there, but the body is going there now. So there's the body.
Yeah.
Half his head's come off.
Okay. All right. So with your perception, so he's lying obviously on the floor in a pool of blood.
And
It looks like
Carl is here.
yeah. So actually, you can plop your tokens down. Okay. So there's Graccus. And Cassius, you will be just probably in the square south of him.
He thinks I'm Travok, but okay.
All right. So you aren't in there yet, I don't. Well, let's say that you've just come in there as Graccus is surveying the scene.
Well, imagine that point. I would have walked forward a step. To be fair.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. So you can see that it's a very small dwelling. So it's just a one-room dwelling. You can see a curtain to your right. That is so it seems to be like the privy kind of area. The curtain's closed. The place has been ransacked. The table is broken, as you can see with the sort of the table legs that are askew and snapped. So one side of it's completely buckled. You've also got the stool down here is smashed. It looks like someone's been through the cupboards up here, been through the trunk in the corner of the room. And the man is very much dead.
Okay, I will go check this bitch.
All right, make me a investigation, I think.
19.
Okay, so Ren, as Helena has said, he's been stabbed multiple times. And looking closely at the wounds, it's not by a dagger or a knife. It seems to be by a longsword. This guy's been put to the sword, literally.
This man has made an enemy.
Not much is evident.
Bit gratuitous to use a longsword in such a small dwelling, though.
You say a longsword?
Yes. The wound
Down here.
too long, too wide.
The rare blades down here. Most people couldn't afford a longsword. But most merchants couldn't afford to bring them down from the upper tiers.
Says the man with the greatsword.
I brought it down from the upper tier.
Indeed.
What would you like to check, guys? This is an active crime scene. So
I want to.
There is a chest over here.
That's the trunk.
That's a trunk.
Mm-hmm. Bit like a chest.
Actually, I'll do one more thing and then Carl, you come in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is the window, correct?
That is the curtain that separates the privy from the rest of the house.
I will open the curtain to the privy.
It's a privy.
Anything in there?
Make me let's see. Make me a perception check, please.
17.
Let's see. Okay. So there doesn't seem to be anything particularly special in there. It seems to just be a privy. So there's the kind of bucket and kind of floor arrangement.
There's shit, Matt. You're telling me there's shit there. I've perceived.
You can't smell shit. It doesn't seem to have been used in the night. There is sort of a wash basin as well. That's got a bit of water in it. Mihre is one of the places where they have a bit of water because obviously it's a big settlement. They have to feed and support 500,000 people. And even down here, there is a bit of water.
Okay.
But
this is not running water, I would imagine. Should they have fetched this?
Yeah. They fetched it from sort of a communal well.
And the water is clean?
Cleanish. It's been... You probably got the water maybe a day or two ago. So it's got sort of some kind of...
But is it like pink or anything like that?
It's not pink or anything like that. This is just sort of slightly murky.
This is standing water. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll need a change in probably another day. But looking around, we'll have that 17 perception. The whole place seems pretty run down. Like this is a poor house. A poor dwelling, rather. Well, it is a house, essentially. It's very run down, so you can see cracks in the floor. That's what those little lines are there. Graccus, what were you going to do?
I want to take a close look at the body.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I sit on the cabinet.
I want to inspect the wrists, ankles, any signs of being tied to something or tied up beforehand.
Okay. There aren't any signs of him being tied. He seems to have been kind of just caught in well, I don't know about caught in the act, but he seems to have been caught unawares. And just shanked with a longsword. But he doesn't seem to have been tied up or restrained in any way.
Okay. What would they be looking for in here? I want to go over to the trunk and have a look through it and see what's in there.
Okay. Roll me an investigation check, please.
He's barely cold, big boy.
Not stealing, I'm looking. 7.
So the trunk is kind of a mess. It does look like it's been rifled through. But there are just clothes in there, really. Just like a couple of sets of clothes. Quite nice clothes for down here. But just like a few sets of clothes, a couple of bits of crockery. Yeah, it's just sort of general stuff. You can't really tell if anything's been taken.
Okay.
But it has been rifled through.
What's your name, friend? Never got that.
I think we'll leave that for another time, Mr. Graccus. Information is very valuable.
It is.
And all you've given me is a sore wrist today.
Okay. Your information. Longsword down here doesn't make sense. Weapon is out of place. Also, you stabbed that many times. What were they looking for? What would someone down here have that was enough value to need him getting killed that way?
So this guy's been killed by a longsword.
Yep.
And he's been stabbed. This is not a slashing thing. This is a stabbing thing.
He was stabbed. It looks like several stab wounds.
Okay.
You suspect he was sort of stabbed and fell to the floor and then was stabbed more times.
Does that make sense to Cassius? Personally, to me, stabbing, this isn't like a rush job. This is bad juju. Someone's come here for like revenge or something.
Interesting.
This isn't a fight. This is just, I'm going to kill you because I don't like you.
Interesting.
But
there are cupboards behind you.
Hmm.
So you could check them to see if there's similar signs of rummage.
He does, and then he's gonna do something else after this. Oh, there we are. Yeah, I'll check. Investigation.
Oh yeah.
That was good. 25.
Oh, very tasty. So what was the number?
19.
Oh, okay.
Very.
So you look in the cupboards. They are full of kind of bits of food, kind of well, not full. It's sort of some of it has been rifled through again. So it's like food and sort of mugs and kind of tankards, and so there's some tools, sort of just general stuff. It's hard to pin down exactly what this guy did. Like it's very sort of general things, just sort of things that you might find in a cupboard. But from what Graccus told you was in the trunk, and from what you can see in here, it's like, well, this just seems like kind of just a dude, like a kind of nothing kind of dude. Like you can't pin down a profession.
Let me have a look.
But in the cupboards, you can see that things have been taken. But it seems like it's just things at random. So like just a thing here and thing there, and like a tin of food here, a tankard here, like a few screws here. Like it's just completely random things have been lifted from the cupboard.
Does that doesn't seem like a proper robbery to me?
Are you looking in the trunk as well?
I will do, but before I do, that doesn't sit well with me. Does that sit well with Cassius? That looks like a
It doesn't sit well with Cassius at all.
That looks like a bamboozle.
And looking in the trunk, you can see similar. And you also notice that the clothes are nice. Like you would expect to see them probably maybe 2 tiers up.
And what about the clothes on this man, bloody as though they may be?
They are. You've seen clothes like it down here. They're for tier 7. They're smart, but they're not necessarily out of place. It looks like a guy who's just living within his means, trying to look good. But the other clothes are certainly more high end.
So I am going to go to the privy. I am going to take the wash basin, and I'm going to go outside and wash the blood off my shoes.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to go and talk to Anya. Not Anya. What was her name?
Helena. Graccus. Are you going to follow him?
I figure he knows something that I don't at this point. He looked in the cupboard, he looked in the trunk, and then stormed out and took the wash basin. So I don't feel right now there's anything else I can learn from in here. But I'll head out and follow him.
Okay. Before you go though, you get to the door, and you're about to open it to go back out into the street, and you just pause because the hackles on the back of your neck go up a little bit. You're like, hang on a minute, and you're not sure what it is that's clued you in. Something. It may be nothing, but you just feel like you're being watched.
I slowly turn back into the room and start walking back towards the body, crouch down as if looking over it, and then using that, I start scanning the walls for any indications of breaks or cracks or something that someone might be looking through.
Make me a perception check.
15.
You don't. The walls look pretty solid. There's a couple of cracks, but they look like they just lead to like solid wall a little bit further in. The more you sit and kind of look around, the more you just think to yourself, it was probably nothing. It was probably nothing. Like you've had a bit of a morning, so you're like, okay, maybe it's just nerves. However, you do notice some tracks on the floor leading outside that don't belong to you or the gentleman who was with you.
Okay.
Or seemingly Helene.
I'm going to head out and start following those tracks then.
All right. So you go back out into the street, and you they're just, you lose them quickly. So they look like quite heavy. They look like booted prints,
Right.
like leather boots. But you lose them quite quickly in the sort of the foot traffic. There's been a hell of a lot of foot traffic.
Can I try and determine at least which direction they went out when they left the dwelling? Even if I can't track it, at least work out from where they were and which way they would have gone.
It's not easy to see, but it looks like they were heading toward the main concourse.
Okay.
They're heading roughly in that direction.
So what direction?
Roughly in the direction of the main concourse.
Okay. I stand up from looking at the tracks and I look in the direction of the main concourse to see if anything stands out, looks suspect, or just in case something catches my eye, really.
Where are we, Matt?
So this is not the main concourse. This is sort of the intersection here where it goes into the main concourse. So you're out on the street. You were here, actually.
Give us a blip.
Oh, I was trying to, but I was doing it as before. I was doing it on the screen and not on the thing.
That happened on a like a training today. We were doing Microsoft Teams training at work, and someone was trying to make a team, and they were clicking on the video.
I'm wondering like,
luckily I was muted because I knew what was happening. I knew it, and she was like, "Nothing's happening." Oh, now something's happening. As soon as the woman was doing it, I'm like, "She's fucking trying to do what? She's trying to click the video," and I'm like,
"Actually, you're not there. You're here." So this right here. This is the dwelling that you are in, and you are here. The main concourse is to, well, let's say this direction.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's where, so roughly at the end of the street is Elena. She's not made it quite to the main concourse. She's just sort of like watching the dwelling and watching you as you sort of come towards her. And she's still in a bit of a state of shock. But she's
Helena.
Yeah.
Your friend Ren. What did he do for a profession?
He said he told me he worked in the market. That's where I met him.
On what store?
Store that sells. He told me it was the store that sells fabrics. Fine silks, he said.
He has very nice clothes, doesn't he, Helena?
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
How long have you known him?
She sort of kind of jumps at your voice a little bit, but she's like, I've known him Just about a week I've known him.
I go back inside.
We'll go back inside the dwelling.
I went back inside, yeah.
I'll hang out and talk to her a bit more.
Okay.
Did he ever tell you where he got the fabrics from?
He just said he knew people. He said he knew like powerful. He knew like rich people, I guess.
Did he say any names you remember?
No, they never told me names.
Did you ever see him with anyone overly finely dressed for the hair?
No, I never. No, I only started living with him 2 days ago.
So, where were you when you came back? Where were you coming back from? And how long you'd been gone?
So I've been gone a night. I was at my parents' house. They haven't been. They don't like Ren. They think he's no good.
No.
Maybe they were right. But they wanted me to stay with them, and they wanted me to break it off with him, and they wanted me to come home.
Where your parents live?
They live about a street away from the market. You know, the main road that leads up to the market is the right turn before you go in.
Would I know the area particularly well enough for her to tell me whereabouts, the location of the street, so I could send her there?
Yeah. I mean, you've been down here for a few years, and you've been around the market, so you know.
Helena, for now, go to your parents.
Okay.
Safer than being on the street. Go there. I'll come find you when I've had a better look around.
Okay.
And with that, I'm then going back into the house.
Okay. So she sets off. She kind of looks back a little bit, but she sets off toward the market where her parents live, and we're back in the crime scene. So you went in there first, Cassius. So what are you doing?
So I'm stood here
Mhm.
at the door, sort of off to the right, and I'm just looking at the room. We've got a guy who is dead, like super dead, from getting stabbed up by a longsword.
Mm-hmm.
We have over here, we have a seeming robbery, which just looks fucking janky as hell.
Mm-hmm. And in the trunk as well.
They've tried to stage a robbery there.
And in the trunk.
In the trunk, there's things that are taken, but he's got nice clothes. Now, he works on a fabric store, but those are nice clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy is obviously not a marketeer. He's doing shady shit.
Okay.
So chances are there's a deal gone wrong somewhere.
Have I walked in? Yeah.
Yep.
I want to take in my surroundings. What do I get from this?
Make me a perception check. With advantage.
Okay.
Graccus, do you want to check for anything as well?
The top 23 and 19 on the base.
I just want to take another look around at the scene to see if there's anything that I think I've missed.
Oh, perception as well then.
13.
Okay, so let's see. You don't think so. I mean, you don't think you've missed. It looks like he was in the middle of dinner, so you notice that there are like a bit there. So you see, I need to ping it. Hang on. So you see on the floor here, there is a tankard that's obviously fallen off the table.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of smashed crockery on the floor as well. Bit of food that's been. It looks like he was taken in the middle of dinner. So he was, or in the middle of breakfast rather. It's early morning. But apart from that, you don't really see a whole lot else. And there's still sort of nothing that there's still nothing that kind of tickles your that you can attribute to the raising of your hackles earlier.
Okay.
Cassius is stoically taking in the room, very, very still, very silent. His face is almost completely blank. We don't know what he's doing. Hopefully he'll return shortly.
Has my video gone off?
Yes.
Oh, I can see me.
Oh, we couldn't.
Okay, well, now that you're still here.
I am very stoic.
You're very
Okay.
stoic.
You are correct.
Your face sort of brightens up again. So with your you notice that the blood is trickling a little bit into the privy, but you didn't notice blood on the privy floor, which is slightly strange.
Okay. So I'm gonna edge my way into the privy.
Okay. So you notice that the blood is running into a crack in the floor.
Okay. I'm gonna jimmy a dagger into it and see if I can open it up.
You do, and the sort of it comes up like a whole section of the floor of the privy floor kind of just comes up. Looks like it's being supported by a couple of planks and some stones. And in there, you find a small, well, not a small sack of something. And you see a small stack of papers and what looks like a small book.
I'm assuming I heard the sound of the floor being wrenched up.
You did.
While you do, I come over here and I bang them on the table. Put it on the table.
They will fall. Well, so that end of the table is on the floor. The table is at that angle.
In which case, that is not there. I go the long way around and place it on the bed.
Okay, that'll do it. All right. So on the bed. So moving the things over, you can tell the sack is a sack of gold, or a sack of money at least.
How much?
Looking inside, it is all silver and gold pieces. To give you a more accurate number, it is 21 gold and 22 silver.
Okay. I'm going to take some of this. I'm going to take some of it right now.
Okay.
You said 20, how much?
21 gold, 22 silver.
Okay. I am going to take 12 gold and 12 silver. My friend can have the smaller amount.
Okay.
Finder's fee, I say. And then I look to the papers.
So the papers look to be writs of purchase.
For
It's not clear what for, but the top one says the following: product clean and well maintained, bonus incurred. More product of this quality would be well received.
okay.
What have you found?
Purchase notes. This man is a trader of something. Something very valuable. It's very rare you find gold pieces on the bottom tier.
Interesting.
It's yours, by the way. Please take it if you want, otherwise I will have it all.
I take a look at the sack, I cinch it up and sort of pull it towards me.
Probably wise. The book.
Hang on.
The boot marks leading out into the main concourse.
You can apologise now if you wish.
And Helena's only known Ren a week.
I said you can apologise if you wish, Mr. Graccus.
I'll apologise when you give me your name, so I know who I'm apologising to.
You can call me Mr. Valentine. We're not on first name terms yet, even though you gave me yours, you saucy boy.
For my people's condolences and apologies, Mr. Valentine. You settled now?
You are forgiven, boy. And I...
Don't call me boy.
Yes. I now have a blue spot on me. This had an ink. It had an ink trap in it.
It's fake. It was all fake gold,
Oh, it's fine downhill, we'll never know.
and you'll never wash it out.
We'll never know.
So there's writs of purchase in there. There's
Mhm.
gold. There was a book in there.
There was.
Okay, I am going to sit on this chest and read the book.
So the book, it's not super, well, it is kind of half full.
Mhm.
There's lists of names, prices in gold next to them.
What is it, Mr. Valentine?
This is information. Information is something that I enjoy collecting.
Good for you. This information got a man killed. What's in the book?
I don't think the information got the man killed. I think something else got the man killed.
How about we share thoughts for a change?
This man was doing things on the side. That much is true. He has been selling something for an awful lot of money. An awful lot of money for his tier. Someone has gotten wind of what he is selling and wants to cut in on that market. I believe they have cut in very well. He sort of gestures to the cut up man over the other side of the room.
According to Helena, Ren claimed to know very powerful people. People
What?
not in this kid.
Do any of these people look like very powerful people in the book?
You can't tell based on the names. I mean, it's just a list of names and prices in gold.
But this doesn't look like my previous clientele up top.
No.
Are they
So-
male or female names?
Both. It seems like the information in this book is almost purposefully vague. and not just for the sake of the plot, but for just in case that someone
Found it.
does find it and, they won't be able to get too much from it. You notice something on the floor next to the trunk.
You may.
I think Graccus noticed it. It's almost underneath the trunk. It's just sort of poking out.
I head over towards the trunk, lift the trunk slightly and grab whatever it is.
It is a small book of matches. And it seems to, pardon me, it seems to belong to a tavern called the Devilish Library.
I held them up. Mean anything to you? I don't tend to stay in taverns down here.
No, it doesn't seem so. Take it and have a look.
It doesn't seem super familiar to you either.
Maybe another question for Helena when we get back to her.
What was that?
Perhaps another question for Helena.
I don't think so. I think this man was living two lives, but you are more than welcome to go and speak to her should you so wish. I may stay here for a while.
You know nothing about this man, either life.
No. So we couldn't have been dealing with very powerful people.
Or he was and got on the wrong side of them. Again, a longsword is an unusual weapon to find down here, but not so unusual to be found amongst the personal retinues of some of the upper tiers. Believe me, that I know. I saw enough of them in my time up there.
I know. Probably scores more than you about the people up there, Graccus. I moved in their circles, I know how they think, I know how they work.
And I did the dirty work for them.
I'm sure you did, you have the size for it, but this is peculiar.
This is sloppy.
And on that note, we'll end episode 1 there. So, thank you for watching. Please, if you enjoyed, if you would like to see more, what is it they say? Smash the like button. Is that it?
Fuck knows.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah. Well, leave a comment,
Share.
subscribe to the channel, share the video.
Like, share, and subscribe, you dingus. That's what you say.
Do all those things.
Yep.
Do all those things, you bitches. Love you.
I think you're supposed to eagerly say, "Smash the like button" or something.
Smash it! Smash it! Not good enough?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it works.
I want to smash the like button now, so that definitely works.
Peace. See you next time.